quarantines. All right, this is called law of cosines. All right, so we already learned about the law of sines. We use the law of sines if we know angle, angle, side, so where the side's not included between angles, or angle, side, angle, where the side is included. So if you know two angles and a side, you can use law of sines. We know we have an ambiguous case when you have side, side, angle, or angle, side, side. You can have an ambiguous case. Remember, you might not have a triangle at all. You might have a right triangle, you might just have a regular old triangle, or it might not be, or it could be two triangles, two different cases, right? That's when you have side, side, angle, you gotta check for that. So today we're gonna learn about law of cosines. And the law of cosines is used to solve triangles in which two sides and the included angle which we call side angle side, are known, or those in which three sides are known. All right. If A, B, and C, all uppercase, A, B, and C are the measures of the angles of a triangle, and A, B, and C, all lowercase, are the lengths of the sides opposite of the angles, then dot, 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 A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2BC times the cosine at A. B squared equals A squared plus C squared minus 2AC times the cosine at B. C squared equals A squared plus B squared minus 2 AB times the cosine of C. And here are the steps that you would use for a side angle side. Step 1. Use the law of cosines to find the side opposite the given angle. Step 2. Use the law of sines to find the angle opposite the shorter of the two given sides. This angle is always acute. Step 3. Find the third angle by subtracting the two known angles from 180 degrees. And Preston, I know that I'm not sure where you were in the class that you came from, probably ahead of where we are, but just in case, I know you don't have access to Schoology yet, but when you do, I post all of the videos on my lessons in Schoology under the materials tab. So if there's anything you need to go back and catch up on, everything's on Schoology. All right, so our first example. Everybody done with this? And my triangles may not be drawn to scale. I know angle A is 60 degrees. I don't know angle B. I'll put a circle there. I'm going to try and find it. I don't know angle C. I don't know side A. I know side C is equal to 30 and side B is equal to 20. So this is a side angle side. Side angle side. We can't use the law of sines on this because we could if we knew an angle and a side opposite of the angle. But we only know one angle and we don't know the side opposite of it, right? So we can't use law of sines on this. If we could, sweet, but we can't. So we're going to look at law of cosines. Law of cosines we can use on a side angle side or a side side. We can use law of cosines. So since we know angle A, I'm going to use the equation that had a squared was what was isolated, okay? So since we know angle A, we will use the following law of cosines. To find the side opposite the given angle. And that was a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc times the cosine at angle A. So this is a lowercase a, right? It's not talking about the angle, it's talking about the side A. I don't know A, but I'm trying to find. B squared, that's lowercase b, talking about a side, so 20 squared plus c is 30 squared minus 2 times b is 20 times c is 30 times the cosine at angle A, so the cosine at 60 degrees. So that's a lot of math, but we have a calculator. A squared equals 20 squared is 400 plus 900. Now me personally, I'm going to do -2 times 20 times 30 first, figure that out, and then multiply times the cosine of 60. So -2 times 20 is -40 times 30 is -1200 times the cosine of 60 degrees. Double check my math, 2 times 20 times 30, yeah. So then I have 400 plus 900 is 1,300. And then let's do -1200 times 60 cosine equals, hold on. Let's do 60 cosine is 0.5. And then you multiply those together, that means half of 1,200, you get -600, right? So a squared equals 1,300 minus 600. Y'all cool with that? And I'm sure you could put that all in your calculator. I just get hesitant about it because I don't want to make a mistake. So a squared equals 700. So how am I going to solve from a for here? Square root both sides. And I'm not going to take the positive and negative because you can't have a negative length of a side, right? So my calculator, 700 square root, I'm going to round to the nearest tenths place, so that's going to be approximately 26.5. Everybody good with that? So that is the length of side A. I'm going to go label my triangle. So then our direction said, use the law of sines to find the angle opposite the shorter of the two given sides. Okay, so that would be side your 20. So we'll use law of cosines, and I'm going to do A over sine at A over sine at A, because I know both of those, equals B over sine at B. Okay. So law of cosines we learned before break. A over sine at A equals B over sine at B. So leg A, 26.5 over sine at 60 equals, side B was 20 over sine at B. I don't know sine at B. And then I'm going to find the cross product. So that would be 26.5 times the sine at B equals 20 times the sine at 60 degrees. Y'all remember that from when we left? And we're trying to find the sine at B. So what are we going to do? Divide by 26.5. So we have sine at B equals 20 times 60 sine equals, divided by 26.5, and that is 0.65. Now, is that the angle measure, 0.65? No. That's telling you what the sine, whatever the angle is, that's telling you the sine. So if I want to find the angle, what do I do? Inverse, right? So sine inverse of 0.65 equals what? So I'm going to leave the non-rounded version in my calculator and then just do second sine, and I get approximately 40.8, or we could go with 41. Let's do 40.8, more accurate. So angle B is 40.8. We good with that? Now, all we have to do is find that one angle. Easy enough. So to find angle C, we'll do 180 degrees minus 60 degrees minus 40.8 degrees. And I get 79.2. So y'all got, hopefully. Everybody good with that? Easy enough. When you're solving a triangle, if you look at it and you're like, okay, I always try to use law of sines first. But if I don't know an angle and a leg opposite of an angle, I can't use law of sines. So then I have to be like, okay, well, I'm going to have to start with law of cosines. That's how I decide what it is that I can use. All right, example 2. This is a side angle side. Do we have enough information to be able to use law of sines? No. Side angle side, we start with law of cosines. And since I know angle A, I'm going to use the law of cosines to find side A. So we use the one where A is by itself. Same one that we used last time. If we knew angle B, we would start with the one where B is by itself. If we knew angle C, we would start with the one where C is by itself. All right, so that was A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2BC times the cosine at A. Y'all want to do the math on that on your own and we'll compare? Yeah, let's try it. I'm going to freeze my screen, do that math, and then we'll come back and compare. Still going to answer yet? Just for side A? What'd you get? 13. Anybody else get 13? That's what I got too. Oh, froze on the wrong one. Unfreeze. Well, I'm trying to unfreeze my screen. There. Oh, there we go. 13. And again, y'all might have put all this in your calculator all together. I just do it step by step. Y'all good with that? All right, so next step, use the law of sines to find the angle opposite the shorter of the two given sides. So, and I don't really think that matters. I think you can do either one. It's just, you know, these are steps for you to go by. So we'll find, we know the shorter side is B, is 7. And I know A and side A. So I'm going to use A over sine at A equals B over sine at B. Y'all good with that? So side A, 13 over sine at 120 degrees equals side B is 7 over the sine at B. We don't know that. So I'm going to find the cross product. So 13 times the sine at B equals 7 times the sine at 120 degrees. Now what? Divide by 13. So the sine at B equals the sine of 120 times 7 divided by 13. I get 0.466. So y'all got? Is that my angle? Is angle B 0.466? No, that's the sine of angle B. That's not angle B. To find angle B, I have to do the inverse of 0.466. So I'm going to leave the non-rounded version in my calculator, second sine, and I'm going to go with 27.8 approximately. So angle B is approximately 27.8. And then only one more thing to find, that's angle C. So angle C, we're going to do 180 degrees minus 120 degrees minus 27.8 degrees. And we get 32.2 degrees. Easy enough? All right, so both of those were side angle side. Now I'm going to show you what to do if you have side, side, side. Or just side, side, side. You may have a question on this one? All right. Solving side, side, side. Step 1, use the law of cosines to find the angle opposite the longest leg. Or longest side. Step 2, use the law of sines to find either of the two remaining angles. Step 3, find the third angle. And that is a C. I don't know where my corrective tape went. Oh, here. All right, step 1, use the law of cosines to find the angle opposite the longest side. So my longest side was side B. So we're going to find the angle opposite of that, angle B. So step 1, and since it's the B that we're using, we'll use the law of cosines that has the B isolated, the B squared isolated. So B squared equals A squared plus C squared minus 2AC times the cosine at B. So this time we know what's on the left side. We know what B is, right? B is 9. So it's going to be a little different. 9 squared equals 6 squared plus 4 squared minus 2 times 6 times 4 times the cosine at B. I don't know angle B. Y'all cool with that? So that would be 81 equals 36 plus 16 minus 48 times the cosine at B. So that's 81 equals 36 plus 16 is 52 minus 48 times the cosine at B. Okay, this is different than the last two. Once we get to this step, what do you think we do next? Subtract 51, 52. So 81 minus 52 is 29 equals negative 48 times the cosine at B. Okay, now what? Divide by negative 48, good. So on the right side, we just have cosine at B, and 29 divided by negative 48 is approximately negative 0.6. Is that my angle B? No, that's the cosine of angle B. If I want to find angle B, I'm going to have to do cosine inverse of negative 0.6. But I'm not going to type 0.6 in my calculator. I'm going to leave that non-rounded version in there and hit second cosine for the inverse. And I'm going to go with 127.2 approximately. Step 2, use the law of sines to find either of the two remaining angles. So let's see. I know B, angle B and leg B, so I'm definitely using B over sine at B. And then I can either do A over sine at A or C over sine at C, it doesn't matter. I did A over sine at A. So that's going to be 9 over sine at 127 and 2/10 equals 6 over sine at A. I'm going to find the cross product. 9 times sine at A equals 6 times the sine at 127.2. Then what? Divide by 9. So sine at A equals, okay, let's see, 127.2 sine times 6 equals that number divided by 9, and I get approximately 0.531. Of course, that's the sine at A. It's not angle A. So to find that, we're going to have to do the inverse. So leave that number in your calculator. Second inverse is, let's go with 32 degrees. 0.1. Round it like we've been rounding it. So angle A, approximately 32.1 degrees. Now we can do the same thing to find angle C, or unnecessary. All we have to do, since we know two angles, 180 degrees minus 32.1 minus 127.2. And I get 20.7. Y'all good with that? So the last one's a side, side, side. I'm going to draw the triangle for you, and then I want you to solve it on your own, the whole thing, and then we'll check back. It's just like this one. Okay, everybody good? All right. And then we'll be done for the day. Tomorrow we'll have an assignment. Remember, not drawn to scale. Do this on your own. We will compare.
For this part 1, how did you find sine A at the end?
Inverse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Y'all ready for the great reveal? Oh, bell's about to ring, so I'm gonna put up the great reveal. So I got for angle B 97.9, for angle A 52.4, and for angle C 29.7. And we might have done it in like this part in a different order, but if we all started with the longest side, then this part should match. And then we could have done different parts here, but. Y'all good with that? So no homework today. Tomorrow we'll have a classwork assignment. Julio, I'm gonna stop the video eventually. Everybody at home, once you have that copy down, if you don't have any questions, you're welcome to log off. And we'll see you tomorrow.